Guys, I am not done with the videos tonight. I'm going to go ahead and look at the prize picks plays for these Game 7s tomorrow. We got some good ones, got some good props. We have the Luka Freebie, only scoring 1 point and you will win, so you might as well use that to your advantage. Plug in and make a bunch of entries with that, or at least make one where you can make it a 10x. That will be something that I'll kind of look at in this one. So I'll start off plugging in Luka over half a point. Shout out prize picks for that. If you haven't signed up on PrizePicks yet, you can use my code PROCESS and they'll match your first deposit up to $100 and you can make some extra money if you plug in this Luka prop as well. But Giannis is next up on the list. He's 34.5 points. I think this is a solid number. He's dropped 44, 40, 34, 42. So he's basically been crushing this number, been right at this number in his last 4 games. Still a lot of points, but in Game 7, you don't expect Giannis to really leave the floor. They haven't had anybody to slow him down, and nobody else is scoring on the Milwaukee Bucks. It's basically Giannis and Jrue Holiday who are the catalyst on offense. They are taking like half the shots, and nobody else has really stepped up for them. They need somebody else to kind of fill in that Chris Middleton role, or at least be half of what Chris Middleton was, and nobody's really stepped up. Tatum is at 30.5. We had a masterclass performance from Jason Tatum, absolutely making some clutch shots at the end of the game after Milwaukee cut it to 4. That's another one that you can like, but I'd probably take Giannis for 4 more than Tatum at 30.5. Holiday, taking a lot of shots. He hasn't hit a ton of them. He's 2 out of his last 5. He's hit 20.5. He's okay. This isn't my favorite prop for Holiday. I still go back to his rebounds, even though he didn't hit that last game. Another one that I like is Marcus Smart here at 14.5. He's hit this in 3 straight games. He's been a lot more aggressive lately, and don't know about Robert Williams' status or not, if he's going to play or not. He's still expecting to probably be limited, but at home, Smart's been hitting some threes recently. He's getting to the rim, and he's playing monster minutes right now just for his defense out there. Sometimes we'll get into trouble with the fouls, but hopefully if he doesn't, then he'll still get you 40-plus minutes and can maybe get you 15 or more, up to 20, like he's dropped 21 last game. He got 18. So 14.5 is one I kind of like for Marcus Smart. Grayson Allen is there, but yeah, has struggled all series. Not getting open threes. He's still going to play the minutes and still get some opportunities, but that's just not a prop I feel confident taking the over. Al Horford, another one that you can't feel confident really. He had that one crazy game where he dropped 30, but otherwise 8 and 2, combining his points from his last 2 games. He wouldn't even have hit this prop. So it's one that I wouldn't take the over on. Jaylen Brown, 24.5. This is probably where he should be. He's been right around this number for most of the playoffs in this series. 3 out of 5 he's hit it. But the games that he has hit, it's only been 26, 27, and 30, so it's not like he's dropping 35, 40, really blowing the prop out of the water. I'll probably pass on that one. I like Luka, but you can only play rather play Luka over half a point than over 32.5 points. Booker, he's also been all right this series. He's hitting his points prop more often than the other props. 27.5 at home. Expect this one to hit. So I like that more than Chris Paul. I think Paul has been just kind of unplayable on PrizePicks and even in DFS. This series, he's been absolutely garbage. And you'd think he'd step up in Game 7, but then again, Scott Foster is reffing, and he hasn't had any luck with Scott Foster. So I'm not going to go ahead and bank Chris Paul at this point. I stayed away from his props. I'm not going to jump on it now. I like Finney Smith's over 11.5, and this is one that, just looking at it, you want to feel great about saying that, but last game he only played 25 minutes because he was in foul trouble, and they won by 27. He had 5 fouls in 25 minutes, and then the game before that, they got blown out. So they blew out the Suns last game. The previous game, they got blown out by 30, and the team only scored 80 points. So that's why we saw Finney Smith only score 8 points in that one. He scored 4 last game, only got 2 shot attempts. Normally, he's going to take more shots than that, especially if they try to put some more focus on slowing down like Luka and slowing down maybe Reggie Bullock, who has gotten a good amount of threes off last game. So if that's the case, I do like Finney Smith. Bullock is also in the mix as well at 9.5. Actually, I like Finney Smith's 11.5, but I probably like his fantasy score more. So his fantasy score is only at 20. I'll probably side with that. Hope that Finney Smith gets me some rebounds if he gets some blocks and steals, and that will be great. Don't mind his points, but I like his fantasy score a little bit more. I don't want to take the over on any of these other guys except for Maxi Kleber. I like the over 9 on him. I think it can be a push situation. He's another guy that's lost some playing time with the fouls. 4 fouls in his last 2 games. And the blowouts have also affected his minutes just like everybody else. He hasn't gotten more than 25 in the last 2 games, and he's normally playing 30 plus and like up to 34, 35, just with how much they don't want to play Dwight Powell at this point. So Maxi taking his over on his 9 points another one that I like. The Suns, kind of tough for me. I haven't really gone to any of these guys just because they haven't been super consistent with their props. I like the Mavs a little bit more, even though they are the underdogs in this one. I just think that their numbers are a little bit better on price picks and more likely to hit. The assist board, Tatum is shooting a lot more, so his assists have come down. That might be one you can take the under on, but I don't want to take the under on any of Tatum's props. Holiday looks fine at 6.5. Don't think I'll go with any of these. Can't play Luka into. Do like his assist, but that'll be like a separate lineup. But if you're playing his half a point, that'll be the one that you stick with. So I don't have much interest. Maybe the under on Chris Paul because he's only hit this once this series, and that was with 10. Otherwise, 4, 7, 4, 8, and the other 4 games. And game 1, he didn't have that either. Rebounds, you got a ton of rebounds for Giannis. 20 rebounds last game. He's at 13.5. I like his fantasy more though. I like Holiday's rebounds. He's averaging like almost 10 rebound chances per game in the postseason, or in the last like 5 games or so. And even in the postseason, it's been right around that number. So he's capitalized in the previous games. Last game didn't. Only had 2, which was unfortunate. But I would go back to Holiday if I had to pick any of these guys here. I do like maybe Finney Smith's rebounds, but I like his fantasy score, like I mentioned. And you have Kleber at 5.5 rebounds. I like his points more than that, but that's definitely doable as well. Ayton has been either 11 or under, so 10.5 is a good number for that. Been kind of 50-50 prop, so I wouldn't decide one way or the other, really. Points, rebounds, assist, that is a fine board, but I like the fantasy more just with the upside. If you want to target some guys to give you some upside with the blocks and steals, that does a little bit better. But I like Finney Smith 17.5. I had a pick. I like Bullock at 14.5. We do have, like, even though the number is super low, I like Devin Booker at 38.5. I had to pick one between him and Paul. I still probably side with Devin Booker. And you can always go with Tatum at over 43. I like Holiday 32.5. He's going to probably step up offensively, especially if they're not going to get any sort of bump from any of these other guys. So right now we got 3 props here, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in the last 2 with the fantasy scores. Did we have Giannis? Yeah, we don't have Giannis plugged in. 58 fantasy score for Giannis. That's going to be my favorite prop to consider. Taking a look at all of the options for Giannis that we have. He has points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, all the props, all the different boards. This one is probably my favorite. He has the upside to absolutely just blow this number out of the water, and he probably will in a Game 7 on the road playing monster minutes. He dropped 80, 77. Some of these other games, he's been right at this number, except for that 49. But otherwise, in a Game 7, should expect monster minutes and monster production from Giannis. Same thing can be said for Tatum. I like his over on 48 fantasy. I like the over on Marcus Smart, but I like his points at 14.5. Slightly similar. He's hit that a little bit more often, 3 straight games for him, hitting his 14.5 points. Luka looks good at 58, but playing as over half a point. And then we got Finney Smith at 20. That's the one that I like a lot. He's the same as Reggie Bullock, but Finney Smith gives you more upside with the blocks and steals. Like Bullock can have that if he gets some rebounds or if he hits some threes. But Finney Smith, 20 fantasy points. A couple of blowouts here. I'm not going to put too much stock into it. Even though he just had 4 points, still gave you like 14.5 fantasy points with some rebounds that he gave you. He does give you upside with blocks, maybe some steals, and should be looking at heavy minutes just for the defense that he gives. Kleber looks fine as well at only 18. And then I don't mind, maybe you can make a case for like Bridges at 24 or Ayton at 33, but I've stayed away from the Suns props this series, and it hasn't killed me, so it's not like they're going nuts. None of these guys have been super consistent. Out of them, I would pick Booker to be the best just because I expect him to step up and go toe-to-toe with Luka. You don't know what can be said about Chris Paul and the way that he's been playing, but that's what I got. 5 props here. Over half a point on Luka, that's the freebie. Over 14.5 points, Marcus Smart. Over 9 points for Maxi Kleber. 58 fantasy for Giannis and 20 fantasy for Finney Smith. Let's try to get that 10x. Thank you for watching. Best of luck. You can leave any questions in the comments below, and I will see you all next time.